Hello and welcome back to Speed Demon Painting. Today we are taking a look at the April releases coming to Dystopian Wars, and there's quite a few big boxes coming our way. This month includes 4 different releases for Dystopian Wars, and a few separate releases as well for the Warcradle Scenics, where all of the stuff that was released previously is now available as separate releases. But yeah, I'll mostly be focusing on the Dystopian Wars releases, as there are 2 very exciting boxes in there for this month. Now, as always, these pre-orders work by having a pre-order that you can do now, and then you can expect to see your boxes arrive near the end of the month. So if you want to head down to your friendly local gaming store, you can ask them to pre-order those for you, and you should have them near the end of April. The first very big release that we are seeing is the Hachiman battle set, and it looks like a return to form for the old battle fleets that included a mass 4 ship and then came along with 6 different plastic sprues, as we can see here, 3 of which are frontline sprues, new and updated ones when applicable, and for the Japanese we have 3 of the new support sprues that were previously only available if you got the Japanese starter set. Now, if you are new to Dystopian Wars and you're wondering, like, well, what am I getting in one of these boxes? These are pretty much, 1,500 standard point fleets straight out of the box. You get one massive flagship in there, which has, if I'm not mistaken, 3 different build options, and a 4th one, technically, if you include the named option, along with 3 frontline cruisers, and these clock in about, 100 points apiece, let's say, with your flagship being well over 300 points, and then a bunch of big submarines clocking at 300 points as well. And if we just add everything together, you're pretty much sitting at a comfortable 1,000 points list already. Add into that all of the smaller vessels that you're seeing here, and you'll have a 1,500 points standard force in no time. Now, if you want to see more info as well on what you can build with these, what the tactical advantages are of every single type of ship, make sure you hit the thumbs up for this video and subscribe to the channel for future updates, because we do try to regularly do Orbat deep dives, in which I try to help new players to learn the ropes and sort of give them a few guidelines on what can be handy when you are building these ships, because as we'll find out, you can build these in many different ways. Let's first start out with what you can do with the big resin ship that comes into it, because that's by far the more exciting bit. And the title of the blog itself was referencing the Hachiman, and this is the Hachiman class itself. It is a large sort of carrier type ship, but it's not traditional aircraft that it is sending. It is sending out these Rin exosubs, which are these weird devices that can either switch into a submarine platform or can open their wings and become flying tokens as well, which you can see here at the back of the miniature. This is one of those Rin exosubs being launched at the front, but with their wings folded open and having these sort of jet propellers putting them up into the air with rocket pods and everything coming out. So these in-game are a very interesting ship where they can sort of tailor themselves to attack whatever target you are sending them at. Personally, I think this is an incredibly looking ship, but the problem with it is, as we'll soon discover, is that you can make a bunch of really cool variants out of it. Now, I do think this is going to have to come with an update to the Orbat, because if I'm not mistaken, the current Orbat only has it listed with 2 different rocket batteries, and as we can see from the model details, it has this rocket battery pointed towards the back, the aft. That's something that is entirely reasonable, but it also has a rocket battery on this one side on port, and as we can see from the other one, on starboard as well. So there seems to be 3 rocket batteries on there, while the Orbat entry only has 2 listed. So I'm expecting an update to the rules of this ship very, very quickly. Nothing major, nothing groundbreaking, it's still going to function as you would expect, but a small little update in the rules might be in order for this ship. Apart from the Hachiman, there is a second build option, and from the looks of it, it doesn't look like it's too difficult to magnetize, because it mostly requires you to change the big platform in the front for another resin part, but just one that actually includes the option to have multiple heavy gun batteries on them as well. And if we're looking to the back of it, it seems a simple case of swapping out that landing platform and this rear bit as well, because this rear bit sort of had a place where the exosubs were able to land. That is now replaced with a large, as you can see, shield generator, and the landing platform is replaced with even more guns, which is definitely fun. On top of that, I think this can be a very interesting build option for Japanese players, because the Japanese tend to focus a lot on gun batteries. These ships, however, already come with rocket batteries, so swapping them out for alchemical rockets might be the most straightforward way of introducing a lot of heavy rocket batteries into your Japanese force. And should you want a full forward firing profile, I should say, you can even swap this one out for another generator to create an absolute beast of a main battleship. I'll be brutally honest, Hachiman, really cool, Akita, really cool, but what they've done with this one, the Matsumoto class, is definitely the one that caught my attention. They are introducing some see-through elements in this ship, which I just absolutely love the look of. I mean, I might be having to use some different masking materials to make sure that it's still see-through at the end of the paint job, because I'm for sure getting this one. But it works with this sort of hyper beam lens that is fired from this aperture that you're seeing in the front here, and then shoots this condensed laser beam in a sort of super attack that can cause a lot of catastrophic hits if you're lucky in the current rule set. And that is not the only function that this class of ship has. As you can see, it's a generator ship, and you can see that it in the back. It is able to be swapping out many different plastic generators that come into this kit as well, and those rules can be applied to many different Mass 2 ships around it, very much like you could do with previous generator ships like you saw in the Imperium, and like we saw with the Enlightened as well. The only thing that has me wondering is the named variant of this vessel. I mean, there is a named variant in the Orbat that has a Great Wall generator. I'm not quite sure if there has been a plastic model out of that as well, or if it just uses the same sort of model as the shield generator. The named variant has the Great Wall generator along with a magma generator, if I'm not mistaken, and came with a third one as well, but I'm not entirely sure what that one is about. But that's the one I, rules-wise, had my eye on. The named variant is called the Shinzao Nioi, and I'm very sorry to any Japanese listeners if I have absolutely butchered that name, because I'm really not sure how Japanese is spoken, but that one comes with the magma, magnetic, and Great Wall generator. And I think gameplay wise, if you're able to get a bunch of Mass 2 ships around this one, this box definitely provides that, you can do some really interesting stuff with those magma generators by building walls and everything in certain areas of the board, and you can get an absurdly efficient board controller unit with this named Matsumoto class ship, which is called the Shinzao Nioi. So yeah, plenty of build options with your big Mass 4 ship, but you also get a lot of different build options, let's be honest, with those frontline ships. The Japanese are renowned for having 8 of them in a single frontline squadron, and I don't even think that the blog post mentioned all of them. It's just such a huge amount of variety that you can build. So even if you already had quite a few of the frontline sprues with the Japanese, you can probably comfortably build a few other variants that are still interesting to build regardless. The first one being the Miyagi class option. This is the heavy cruiser option that also has some normal SRS that are being able to be launched from the back of it. There's the smaller version of that one, the Okinawa class, that also introduces some regular SRS tokens into your force if you want to. The Yamaguchi class is the one that has some extra moonpole options, which is a unit that buffs all of your little escort tokens for units around it. A very interesting vessel as well, because it's got armor 7, and it's really one of those central brawlers that you can get in your force. And a slightly smaller version of this one, the Ishikawa class option for the cruiser. Now, those are the only ones mentioned in the blog post article, but let it be known that you can actually build 4 more options, with that one being the Hokkaido class, the very heavy one, the Osaka class being your standard ship, and then one of the ones that I personally like, which is the Kanagawa Heavy Monitor, giving you some extra heavy torpedoes in your force as well, so you can build even more out of this force should you so desire. Apart from the frontline sprues, you're also getting 3 different support squadrons in this box, and those support squadrons are quite interesting because you can build these Mass 2 submarines out of them, and they also come with 6 different build options, as you can see in the blog post here. So yeah, I doubt you'll ever have enough sprues to just make all of them in full squadrons to begin with. The only thing that might be considered slightly awkward with these is that these Chubu class hunter submarines, well, there's only 3 of them in this box because the support sprue only builds a single one of them, so you don't quite get to a full squadron of those yet. You might have to buy some extra support sprues to the Japanese when they come out later in the year. I can't see any reasons why that would take very long. And the same goes for this one. It's the Sakata class heavy destroyer. For those of you who don't know yet, the rather normal gun batteries have been boosted significantly in the latest version, and destroyers using 2 gun batteries can really dish out a lot of pain to your opponent. So I'm quite looking forward to fielding a full squadron of these, which is a squadron of 6. So might be an excuse that I'm trying to make for myself to buy this box twice. I don't know yet. It's not just the Japanese though that are getting a massive new battlefleet box. The Crown are getting one as well, and in fact this is the second big battlefleet box that they're getting after the Victory class, and this is one that is officially called the Gloriana battlefleet set, but you can actually make 3 different variants in this set as well, and you seem to be getting 4 of the new and improved frontline squadron sets from the Crown, and 2 of the rotor sets to flesh that out a bit more as well. Now, let's start by looking at the Gloriana class Dreadnought, the first build option of your big Mass 4 ship, and that one comes absolutely jam-packed with gun batteries. It's got 2 heavy gun batteries pointed at the fore and 2 heavy gun batteries pointed at the aft, and on top of that you can get 2 smaller gun batteries aimed at port and starboard as well to increase that dice pool that you get out of it even more. On top of all of the different guns, you can also see that it comes with 4 different small Guardian generators on the sides as well, so you are getting a hefty 4 dice to your generator pool as well if you build this Gloriana class Dreadnought. It really is the no-nonsense option if you have a British force and you just want to add more firepower to it. It is the Gloriana on... it is the previous one, the Britannia, on steroids in essence. Apart from the Gloriana, you can also make the Camelot class High Guardian ship, and as you can see, the difference here mostly is that you swap out the gun battery options for more Guardian generators. And the unique thing about this ship is that it has a massive amount of, I believe, 8 Guardian generators, and it can put this into some sort of surge mode, giving you up to twice that number as well. So that would be a massive 16 Guardian points from a single ship. It's a Valor effect that is so powerful that your opponent gets to cancel it, even if he doesn't have any ships that normally allow him to do so. But if that one comes through, 16 generator points basically allows you to nullify even large attacks from your opponent, and that is a very strong thing to do. On top of that, it's not mentioned in the blog post, but there is a named variant of the Camelot class that you can include in Canadian forces as well. So if you're somebody who got the crown half from the Sturginium Skies box, this is still a box to look out for, because you can very much expand on your Canadian force as well. Most of the frontline units are the British frontline squads, but those are even more easy to gel into Canadian squadrons now, or battle fleets, because you can take at least one British unit and just have it count as a Canadian one instead. And then the third, or fourth if you will, option that you can make out of this big box is the Adventurer class Grand Indiaman. It is the first entry into the East India Trading Company, so if you want to make a force that is more themed around that particular infamous fleet, I should say, from back in those days, this would be the ship to do it. It replaces one of the gun batteries with this sort of supply depot ship that allows you to have a bit of card play and everything in there as well, while still having ridiculous amounts of firepower, let's be honest. And the East India Trading Company is also largely based on British designs, British ships that just belong to the East India Trading Company and therefore get a whole new subset of rules. So if you want to make a themed force that way, this really is the box you should pick up as well. And then finally, a personal tip for those of you who play with the Crown are going like, well, I really already have quite a lot of frontline squadrons, thank you very much, I'm not sure I need more of them. The blog post only really mentions the Albion class option and the Bedivere class option for your cruisers, but this box can also have enough parts in it, from the looks of it, to build the Lord's Hood as a unit. And if you're a Crown player and you have not yet played with a Lord's Hood yet, you're missing out. The amount of firepower that comes from that one unit is absolutely ridiculous. I think I've made a video about this one now. With the new updated gun battery rules, you can get up to 51 dice in a single volley using the Lord's Hood. If you're not doing that yet, you're not really living life to the fullest. I can only recommend that if you get this box and you're already sort of swamped in frontline boxes, make that one. I promise you, you won't regret it. It's absolutely ridiculous to face. And then the final two things coming out in April are separate releases of more squadron boxes. The first one being the Imperium Aerial Squadron box, where you get 2 aerial squadron sprues. They build the medium-sized Zeppelins, and you can get up to 2 of the smaller-sized ones. You mustn't forget, these also build the Bavarians, so if you want to prepare for a full Zeppelin force with a full Bavarian force, you can do that in preparation of this one. I think that's absolutely amazing to see full Zeppelin forces as well, so yeah, it's far more easy to achieve this with this new release. Last month also saw the release, the first entry of the Italians, which was the Mars battle fleet, and it came with 2 frontline sprues for the Italians, and those frontline sprues are now available separately as well. The picture is still a bit wonky, because you mustn't forget that these smaller ships at the bottom here, they are the escorts, and they actually come on a small sea base, which again isn't pictured in this one. But if you're looking to flesh out your Italians and go for that traditional Italian naval superpower type of force, yeah, you can now do so, because these are available separately. So yeah, if that's something you had your eye on, you can do that now. And there we have it, the April pre-orders. 2 very big boxes. I was expecting those Mass 4 ships, if I'm being honest, to be the new medium ship format, but they're not. They're actually the full one army in one box experience as well. That means that if you wanted to do the multiple builds, you probably are going to want to magnetize a bit more, but if you're a new player, you can actually get by with one of those sets in one go. And if you're a veteran of those, I imagine all of them come with the new updated frontline sprues, so you still might be getting some interesting builds out of them as well, I suppose. Also, I would like to thank you for your patience as well. It's been a while since I was able to make any videos because of voice issues that I've been having, so I really hope you enjoyed the return of this video format. Again, make sure if you liked it to press the thumbs up, and I do hope to see you in the next video. Bye!